What's when you look at the landscape of college football?
Yeah.
It's insane. Like what's going on with NIL, with the portal?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. It's been the talk of really this summer.
Yep.
Talked to a lot of guys, you know, in college football, kind of adapting to the new rules, to the new landscape.
Yep.
You know, Jake Rosenberg, who was Howie's number 2 for the longest, right? And with the Eagles, left to do his own consulting. In fact, he just signed up Oklahoma. So kind of teaching colleges how to create a front office and navigate this new world.
Yeah, it's so interesting, especially at a school like Penn State where, you know, there are a lot of older alumni and they want to go back to how things were in the 80s. And Coach Franklin, Coach Franklin's a great dude, man. We talk about it all the time. He's like, we got to adapt. You're going to get left behind if you want to keep this old school mentality where kids should just be thankful for their scholarships. And we joke, you know, a lot of those SEC schools, this is nothing new for them. They've been doing this for years.
Yes.
So you know, schools that, you know, play by the rules is we try to tell our fan base now, it's like you truly have an opportunity to impact the product that's on the field. You know, we need you all to step up. We essentially need a salary cap. You know, you look at schools like Ohio State, they essentially have like a $16 million fund to maintain a roster from the year to year. And Coach Franklin says, why should ours be any different? If you expect us to compete with the Ohio States, with the Michigans, if they have 16, we need 16. We need 17. We need 18 to keep our players. Our top line, Abdul Carter, who's our top defensive player, Alabama offered him X amount of dollars to leave Penn State and go to Alabama. Thankfully, he didn't take the money. But that's the world that we're in now, where guys can just up and leave, and what are you going to do? Are you going to match it, or are you just going to let them walk? And it's a different ball game, man. But I think the tough part has been getting the alumni to truly understand.
They need to. And look, we're talking about Penn State, right? Like this is the state university of Pennsylvania. Like it should have great resources.
That's what we have, the largest living alumni base in the world. And Coach Frank's like, if everyone just gave $1, or if you think about, we have 108,000 people in our stadium. People gave 50 cents. We would be able to fund this team. And speaking of that, we're having our big fundraiser down in Avalon next 2 weeks, and our biggest fundraiser. And all the guys, Coach Franklin, Drew, all the guys will come down. LeVar Arrington, Brandon Shaw, all the legends will come to raise money to make sure that we're able to compete off the field, which again bleeds into the competitive on the field.
Yeah, and the other thing too is like there has to be a system. Right now, it's the Wild West, right? Like so, it's insane how that whole thing will work, right? So there needs to be some sort of plan. Like right now, it's kind of chaos.
And that's the thing that concerns me is I think like all of us, when I was in college, you're giving me even $50,000.
Could you imagine
I'm going downtown and I'm just going crazy. And I would love to put it, even if, I totally agree, guys get some type of compensation, but even just put it in the fund till when they graduate, they have this money. Because these, I hope, and I know Penn State's doing a great job of educating these guys on how to maintain these finances, but I know when I was 18, 19, 20, I'm buying jewelry, I'm buying watches, I'm buying cars, all that crazy stuff. So it's definitely just craziness. And I think at some point they're going to put some guardrails around it. And even, you talk to Coach Frank, you talk to all the coaches. My college roommate is on the staff at Ohio State now. And he's just hearing the stories from him. It's just like, it's crazy.
Well, and it's wild too. Like some of the stories of the players, like I talked to some players' families and what they go through from, like you might be a starting quarterback, but all of a sudden, like they go, well, wait a second. We like this kid better coming in. Now you're out of a job.
It's
which is why they kind of, I can't balk at, like if you're some great kid coming out, right? And you go, all right, I want, $5 million guaranteed. Now you're not going to get that, but you're going to get $3 guaranteed over 5 years. And that's guaranteed money. That's real money. So if the kid, and it puts a lot of onus on your coaching staff and really how you're going to build your team, because if you now all of a sudden like another kid better, you're paying this other kid $3 million a year.
It's like, as you said, I look back when I was being recruited. I remember my first scholarship offer was Nebraska, and then Rutgers, because I went to camp there. Full they don't do this anymore, but it's full contact summer camp my sophomore year, and they offered me a scholarship. And then Rutgers
So your sophomore year of high school, you go to this camp.
My sophomore going into junior year. They have full contact camps, so you bring your pads and everything. You go out to cornfields in Nebraska. I remember flying to Nebraska. Where the hell am I at? You get off. It was me and 3 of my high school teammates, and we're suited up. And it's 100 degrees out there. And you just for a whole week just getting after it.
Wow.
Running scrimmages, and after the camp, they offered me a scholarship. But I tell you that because then I got all these offers, and Penn State came in kind of late my junior year. But Rutgers came in really hard, and if Rutgers came to me and was like, "Hey, we'll give you $3 million or whatever." It's an hour from home. It may not be the best football, but you're taking care of your family. And I probably would have ended up at Rutgers, So it's just such a crazy game now. When I was being 25 years ago, it was just, hey, I want to get a good education and play good football. And Penn State fit that bill with, Coach Paterno back then.
We all silly like the mayor.